Let's bring in our friend, Sheriff David Clark, Milwaukee County Sheriff, who joins us today from Milwaukee. Good morning to you, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How about this news of the day? Apparently, this past week, Iran executed a former scientist. There he is right there, Shahram Amiri. And what's interesting about this particular man is, you know that unsecured email server that Hillary Clinton had in her basement? Turns out she and her staff apparently discussed this guy on the unsecured server, referring to him as our friend. Our friend has to be given a way out. Our person won't be able to do anything anyway. If he has to leave, so be it. Do you have a problem with this? Are you connecting some dots here regarding this?
Well, I'm connecting the dots. The rest of America is connecting the dots. Unfortunately, the United States Department of Justice could not connect the dots when they looked at her and the criminal behavior, the criminal activity that she was involved in. And if it wasn't for the fact that our government is corrupt from the White House down to the Department of Justice, she would have been doing the perp walk down her driveway from her home in New York.
Yeah.
Sheriff, you run a department at every level of law enforcement and military. There are sources. You have sources that provide information, intelligence to you on how to identify criminals or threats. How damaging is it to your ability to recruit or build allies with others when they are worried that our leaders may be exposing them because of their gross negligence or their recklessness in handling information?
Well, it's extremely problematic. Look, if people don't trust you, they're not going to work with you. They're not going to cooperate with you. And look, we have to rely on informants. We have to rely on people who, operate in those circles, who have information, especially with national security, but domestic security as well. We can't get it done without informants. But I'll tell you right now, the biggest concern of any informant is they don't want to be outed. But you look at what's going on here now, this wouldn't be the first time.
All right, Sheriff, we heard over the weekend that Hillary Clinton was snubbing the biggest police union. She didn't fill out that form to get the endorsement from the largest police union in our country. Donald Trump is trying to get that endorsement. What was your reaction to that?
Well, it's a huge miscalculation, a huge political miscalculation on the part of Mrs. Bill Clinton. Look, everyone running for public office at any level knows that you want and you have to have the support of not only law enforcement but other first responders. But she has made it clear from the convention that she is all in with the criminal element. She doesn't care about victims of crime. She's a straight-up cop hater, and so she is, like I said, rolling the dice on not having support of law enforcement. The problem for her is that middle America, mainstream America, does not share her sentiment in having sympathy for criminals. Now, let's do a little math here. There are nearly 900,000 law enforcement officers across the United States. They all have spouses, significant others, kids who are voting age, extended family, parents, friends, neighbors, other relatives who do support law enforcement all across the country. You throw them in, you throw that together, you throw in the firefighters and other first responders, and you do the math and you multiply, you're talking a potential 3, 4, 5 million votes that she's willing to risk just to get in bed with criminals, and we know many criminals don't vote anyway.
Sheriff,
this is a huge
Sheriff, what do you mean she's getting in bed with criminals?
Well, she made it clear from the convention that she's sympathetic. She thinks that the criminals are victims of a racist criminal justice system, which is a lie. Donald Trump has made it clear he stands on the side of the American law enforcement officer on law and order, victims of crime, and other law-abiding citizens.
Sheriff, we've got a full screen here of all the cities that have had at least a 50% increase in crime since 2014 and 2015. If the anti-law enforcement policies, or this choosing Black Lives Matter over the police, continues in a Hillary Clinton administration, where are we going to see those numbers go in 2017 or 2018?
They're going to continue to increase. Look, the American police officer, right now they're on their heels. They're not engaged in the type of assertive policing that we need to keep crime and violence in check that led to record lows in crime, violent crime all across this country, because they don't feel like they're going to have the support of people like the Attorney General, the President of the United States, and even their local officials. Do you know who's paying the biggest price for this? Not only law-abiding people, but law-abiding black, brown, Hispanic, seniors, those type of people who are disproportionately victimized by violent crime. So actually, with her getting in bed with this Black Lives movement, this dangerous, hateful ideology, she is taking it out on good law-abiding black people that live in the American ghetto.
Well,
they're the ones who are victimized disproportionately by crime and violence.
Yeah, when she snubbed the minors, we saw the minors were voting against her. Now she's snubbing police officers. I'm going to be curious to find out how this affects her when the next
Right, and the irony is Bill Clinton actually did get the endorsement.
The last Democrat to get it.
Yeah. Right.
Sheriff, thank you very much for joining us today,
Sheriff.
live from the beautiful city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Well, Rudy Giuliani, remember he was on with us at the convention, and I saw him on with you guys over the weekend. He said that she said, I don't want to see any police officers wearing their uniforms on the floor of the
convention floor. Yeah, it's a clear contrast, no doubt.